For much of her life, Diane Lane has existed beneath the intense glare of Hollywood spotlight. Audiences across the world have long admired her elegance, grace, and enduring beauty. Yet alongside that admiration, there has always been a quieter narrative, one filled with speculation, curiosity, and whispers that never completely faded. Behind the calm, confident smile that appeared on screen and at public events was a life shaped by complicated emotions, painful experiences, and unpredictable turns of fate. Her journey has stretched from a childhood marked by instability to the remarkable heights of global fame, and it has never been a straightforward path. Only recently has Diane begun speaking more openly about the private experiences that unfolded behind the glamour. By doing so, she offers a rare glimpse into a personal world that many have speculated about, but very few have truly understood. What emerges is not simply the story of a movie star, but a deeply human account of love, loss, perseverance, and the quiet resilience that allowed her to continue moving forward when life seemed uncertain. Diane Lane's story began amid the bright energy of New York City. The city promised opportunity, excitement, and the allure of the entertainment world. Yet despite the glittering environment that surrounded her birth, the foundations of her childhood were anything but secure. She was born on January 22, 1965, to Colleen Farrington and Burton Lane. Her mother was a nightclub singer who also gained attention as a Playboy centerfold, while her father was a respected acting coach who supported himself by driving a taxi through the busy streets of Manhattan. On the surface, the combination seemed almost perfectly suited to launching a future performer. Her mother's public presence and striking beauty, paired with her father's deep connection to theater, suggested a life destined for the stage or screen. But the reality behind that appearance was far more complicated and emotionally turbulent than it first seemed. The marriage between Colleen and Burton was passionate, yet it was also filled with tension and instability. Their relationship ultimately fell apart before Diane had the chance to experience a stable family environment. The divorce occurred when she was still very young, leaving her with few memories of a time when both parents shared a home together. As a result, her childhood became divided between two entirely different worlds. Each parent represented a distinct outlook on life, love, and responsibility. Diane grew up navigating those contrasting influences, trying to understand how two people who once loved each other so deeply could eventually grow so far apart. Following the separation, Diane primarily lived with her father. Their home was far from luxurious. It was a small apartment located above the theater where Burton taught acting classes. The space itself reflected the chaotic beauty of artistic life. Actors frequently passed through the building. Rehearsals echoed through the walls, and scripts and stage materials were scattered throughout the rooms. The environment was vibrant and creative, but it was also unpredictable and unstable. Burton was deeply devoted to his craft, yet he often struggled to balance that passion with the practical realities of supporting a household. Despite these challenges, Burton played an essential role in shaping Diane's early life. He became a steady presence in a world that often felt uncertain. Through his work in theater, he introduced her to the magic of performance, storytelling, and emotional expression. Watching actors rehearse and witnessing the creative process sparked Diane's curiosity and imagination. Even as a young child, she began to understand that acting was not simply about pretending. It was about revealing deeper truths through storytelling. Still, the absence of a traditional family structure left a lingering sense of longing within her. Diane often dreamed of a more stable home life, one where both parents were consistently present. Meanwhile, her mother pursued a glamorous lifestyle in Georgia. Colleen would occasionally reappear in Diane's life before disappearing again just as suddenly. These irregular visits created emotional confusion, leaving Diane uncertain about when, or if, things might feel stable again. When Diane turned 13, her life experienced another sudden upheaval. Her mother unexpectedly took her to Georgia, pulling her away from the familiar environment she had known in New York. For the young teenager, the change was overwhelming. Everything felt unfamiliar, and the sense of disorientation was intense. Yet rather than accepting this new situation passively, Diane made a remarkably bold decision. At only 14 years old, she ran away and made her way back to New York City on her own. The decision revealed a level of independence and determination that most people do not develop until adulthood. By choosing to return to the city she considered home, Diane demonstrated a fierce desire to take control of her own life, even at an age when most children still depend heavily on their parents. That experience left a lasting mark on her understanding of trust and relationships. Witnessing the fragile collapse of her parents' marriage taught her early that emotional bonds could sometimes break without warning. While many children grow up shielded from life's harsher truths, Diane encountered those realities much earlier. She learned to rely on herself, adapting to changes in living situations, cities, and emotional circumstances. The resilience she developed during those formative years later became one of her greatest strengths. Even as a teenager, Diane carried herself with a unique blend of quiet strength and graceful composure. That mixture of toughness and elegance hinted at the complexity that would define her as both a woman and an actress. Her path toward a career in entertainment grew naturally from these experiences. Living above her father's acting studio meant she was surrounded by the theater world every day. She observed actors rehearsing lines, watched directors shape performances, and absorbed the rhythms of storytelling almost by instinct. By the age of 6, she had already begun appearing in local stage productions. Audiences quickly noticed something unusual about the young performer. Diane possessed a presence that felt both delicate and commanding. Even as a child, she could convey emotion in a way that felt authentic and compelling. Those early performances hinted at the remarkable career that would eventually unfold. Still, the instability of her personal life never completely disappeared. By 14, when she was essentially living independently in New York, Diane had developed a personality shaped by both caution and bravery. She approached life with a blend of fearlessness and careful awareness, qualities that would influence both her career choices and her relationships. Her true breakthrough came when she was just 13 years old. Diane was cast in the 1979 film A Little Romance, where she shared the screen with the legendary actor Laurence Olivier. For many young performers, the opportunity to work alongside such an iconic figure might have been intimidating. Yet Diane's early experiences had already prepared her for situations that might overwhelm others. She delivered a performance that surprised critics and audiences alike. Reviewers praised her ability to convey emotional depth far beyond her age. Her natural talent, combined with her maturity, quickly attracted the attention of Hollywood filmmakers. Soon, directors across the industry began to see her as a rare talent, an actress who possessed beauty, intelligence, and emotional authenticity in equal measure. The early 1980s became a period filled with opportunity and rapid professional growth. In 1983, Diane appeared in the film The Outsiders, portraying the character Cherry Valance. The movie featured a remarkable ensemble cast that included rising stars such as Tom Cruise, Patrick Swayze, and Matt Dillon. The film quickly became a cultural phenomenon, capturing the imagination of young audiences and establishing Diane as one of the most promising actresses of her generation. That same year, she appeared in Rumblefish. This performance allowed her to demonstrate a darker and more complex side of her acting abilities. Rather than remaining confined to the image of a youthful starlet, Diane proved that she possessed the range and depth necessary for serious dramatic roles. By the time she appeared in Streets of Fire in 1984, Diane was no longer viewed merely as a talented teenager. She was recognized as a performer capable of delivering strong, emotionally grounded performances. Yet Hollywood can be an unforgiving environment, and early career setbacks soon reminded her how fragile success could be. Films such as The Cotton Club in 1984 and Lady Beware in 1987 failed to achieve the success many had anticipated. These disappointments served as harsh reminders that fame in the film industry is rarely permanent. However, Diane's upbringing had already prepared her for moments of uncertainty. Rather than allowing setbacks to derail her ambitions, she used those experiences to grow as an artist. She refined her craft, explored new types of roles, and gradually reshaped her career. As the 1990s approached, Diane Lane had matured into an actress determined to chart her own path. She moved beyond the youthful image that once defined her and began pursuing roles that reflected deeper emotional complexity. A significant turning point arrived with the 1999 film A Walk on the Moon. In this story, Diane portrayed a housewife who experiences a romantic awakening during the summer of the Woodstock era. Her performance was sensual, vulnerable, and emotionally layered. Critics and audiences alike recognized the depth she brought to the role. This resurgence ultimately led to one of the most defining performances of her career. In 2002, Diane starred in Unfaithful, a psychological drama exploring the consequences of an extramarital affair. Her portrayal of a woman torn between desire and guilt was hauntingly realistic. The emotional intensity of her performance resonated deeply with viewers. The role earned Diane an Academy Award nomination and reaffirmed her position among Hollywood's most respected actresses. Yet even as her career reached new heights, she remained determined to protect her personal privacy. Rather than discussing her private life extensively in interviews, Diane consistently redirected attention toward her work. She understood that the entertainment industry often thrives on scandal and speculation. By maintaining a sense of distance, she preserved control over her own narrative. Nevertheless, fame inevitably attracted attention to her relationships. Early romances with actors such as Timothy Hutton and Christopher Atkins became subjects of tabloid coverage. Rumors also linked her to rock musician John Bon Jovi, although many of those stories were never confirmed. Professional collaborations occasionally fueled gossip as well. Her on-screen chemistry with Richard Gere in Unfaithful and her work with Robert Duvall in Lonesome Dove led tabloids to speculate about romances that did not exist. Diane's first marriage attracted particularly intense public interest. Her relationship with actor Christopher Lambert began during the mid-1980s and eventually led to marriage in 1988. For a time, the relationship appeared to bring the stability she had long desired. In 1993, the couple welcomed their daughter, Eleanor. Becoming a mother gave Diane the opportunity to create the kind of family environment she had once dreamed about as a child. However, the pressures of Hollywood life proved difficult to manage. Busy filming schedules, constant travel, and relentless media attention created strain within the relationship. By 1994, the marriage ended in divorce, leaving Diane both heartbroken and wiser about the challenges of maintaining love under public scrutiny. Her later relationship with actor Josh Brolin introduced another chapter filled with passion and turbulence. The pair married in 2004, but their relationship soon became the subject of intense media coverage after a domestic dispute led to Brolin's arrest in December of that year. Diane chose not to pursue legal charges, describing the situation as a misunderstanding. Even so, the incident fueled sensational headlines that cast a shadow over their marriage. Their union lasted nearly a decade before ending in divorce in 2013. Through those experiences, Diane gained a deeper understanding of the complexities of love and trust within the high-pressure world of Hollywood. Despite everything she endured, heartbreak, rumors, and public scrutiny, Diane Lane continued to focus on what mattered most. Her daughter remained a central part of her life, and her commitment to her craft never wavered. Over the years, she learned to protect her inner world while still pursuing meaningful artistic opportunities. Fame might magnify vulnerability, but it could never dictate the choices she made about her life. Today, Diane Lane stands as both an accomplished actress and a symbol of resilience. Her life story reminds us that even the most admired public figures carry private struggles and personal battles. At 60, she has experienced passion, conflict, heartbreak, and triumph. Yet through it all, she continues to move forward with grace and strength, living according to her own values rather than the expectations of others. Her journey serves as a powerful reminder that behind every public image lies a complex and deeply human story, one defined not only by fame, but by perseverance, growth, and the courage to keep going despite life's many challenges.